In this problem, we're calculating capitalization of interest, and we want to, it gives us all this information. We want to compute the avoidable interest on this project and then compute the depreciation expense for the year. So the first thing that we need to do, there are basically, I believe, 5 steps. So the first step is to determine the weighted average of accumulated expenditures. Well, in the problem, it tells us that the weighted average of accumulated expenditures was $1,800,000. So step 1 has been done for you. So we can go ahead and go to step 2. And what I'm going to do is highlight our answers for each step in blue. Step 2 is to determine total interest. So in the problem, they gave us some information about a construction loan. That was $1 million at 15%, a short-term loan that was $700,000 at 10%, and a long-term loan that was $500,000 at 11%. To compute the total interest, we will just multiply the loan amount times the interest amount to get the total interest for that year. And we'll do that for each one. And then to get your total interest, you're going to add all these interest amounts together. So your total actual interest is $275,000, and I'll highlight that in blue. So we're finished with step 2. Step 3 is to determine the weighted average interest rate for non-construction loans. And the way that you get that is you take the total interest from your non-construction loans, which is the $70,000 plus the $55,000. So that would be $125,000. So that's for your non-construction loan interest. Then you would divide that by the total, and the total of your non-construction loans is the $7 million plus the $500,000. So that would be, and you don't have to add it in here. I'm just showing you how I got it, and my mouse is not cooperating. Okay, so when you do that, so I got 0.10, but we want it to be a percentage. So we want to be a percentage, and we want it to be 2 decimal places. So 10.42 would be the weighted average interest rate for our non-construction loans. Step 4 is to determine the avoidable interest. So we're going to take that weighted average expenditure, which in this problem was given to us in step 1, and we're going to take out the construction loan, and I believe that interest was 0.15 up there. So that interest would be, we're going to take that interest of that loan. So if you subtract out the construction loans, the balance here, the difference of the 800,000, we're going to take that times our weighted average interest rate up. So I ended up putting in the 10.42%. So if you multiply those, that will give you 83,360. Now add those two together, and that will give you our avoidable interest. The last step is to capitalize whichever is lower. So you want to look at your total actual interest calculated in step 2, compare it to your avoidable interest in step 4, and you want to choose the one that is lower. So we will capitalize $233,360. Part B asks you to calculate the depreciation for 2026. Well, you have the cost of the building, so when you make a journal entry, that's part of that asset. So $2,600,000 we have for the cost, but we also have the interest that we're going to capitalize, which is going to be included in the cost. And that's what we just did, the $233,60. So our total cost for our building will be the sum of these. All right, this is the total cost. So to get the depreciation, we're going to do the $233,360 and subtract 150,000. And then divide that. The 150,000 was the salvage value, which was given to you. We're going to divide that by 30 years. So your annual depreciation, I believe they wanted us to round to 2 decimal places. Your annual depreciation will be $89,445. I think they want us to just round to the nearest dollar on that. And that is how you determine the total capitalized cost of the building and the depreciation.